Louisiana Beer Review's Duo Review. We're looking at Miller High Life. Introduced in 1855 as Frederick Miller Lager. Fred Miller Lager was kind of a dull name, so in 1903 they rebranded it as Miller High Life.
Yeah. Interestingly enough,
Same recipe though.
Yeah, this is Miller's original flagship beer.
Correct.
Like Budweiser's would be the red label Budweiser, or Anheuser-Busch's, and Coors would be the Banquet. That would be their flagship beers that they run. Also, interestingly enough, this one is, in some cases, found in the it's not in some cases in beers it's not considered to be a top shelf. It's considered to be a bargain.
Oh yeah, right. It's sold as a sub premium in some markets.
Right. So
like this one that we live in.
Like this one that we live in. So you can find this at a cheaper deal. I always did like this beer. I always found it to be refreshing. It's just very tasty. It's got a real good profile to it, and it is the champagne of beers.
Yeah, it used to be called the champagne of bottled beer, but then
Right.
they started selling cans, so they just changed it in the 1960s to the champagne of beer.
And I did notice that this in bottles has gone down. I don't know if that has to do with the tariffs that we're currently living with, but I did notice that bottled beer has gone down and canned beer has gone slightly up.
Well, Racetrack right now has this 2 for $3. 2 of these bottles for $3. So it's not bad, $1.50 a bottle.
That's bargain prices.
Yeah, it'll fluctuate, but that's about what it sells
Yeah.
for.
So we can go ahead and crack this open. Comes with a twist top. This is a 32 ounce quart size bottle of Miller High Life. In a clear bottle, you can see right through it. You can see your hand all the way through it, like a good beer should be.
And the twist caps are nice because
and it's good, and
I
it's
get it. The twist caps are good because you can recap them.
You can recap them.
And this is within the Best Buy date.
But does beer really go bad?
Oh yes. I have gotten very, very sick drinking rancid, bad beer.
Skunk beer, one might say?
Not skunked, just like rotted. Rotten. It was so old it was rotted. Okay, let's see. Certified Kosher. This beer is 4.6% alcohol and it has 141 calories.
Is a beer being certified kosher a thing? I know she kind of point that out.
It's a thing for some beers.
Okay.
Because they have the indication on it. I just pointed out just to get more information about the product.
Oh, all right. I thought maybe that was a thing. That's all. I just noticed that you kind of pointed out.
It's just...
Interestingly enough, we look at the beers. You had the first pour, and it has the small champagne bubbles in it, and I have the second pour. And I have some very big, aggressive bubbles in mine.
Yeah, it's golden.
So, golden, yes.
Champagne is not this dark, is it? No, maybe
It's
yellow. But it's because of the bubbly aspects why they call it
I
that.
could see how if somebody was trying to market this, they would call it champagne looking, because it is, the head is thick, it's bubbly, it hasn't dissipated enough. It's foamy on top, like you would expect.
Spongy, yeah.
on a good beer, and it's bubbly.
It's not going to be skunk because they use a special light-resistant hop called galena hops. They talk about that on the website. Which
Tell us more about the galena hop.
Well, they just say they don't get ruined by light, because that's why Schlitz invented the brown bottle in 1912 or 1911, because the clear bottle beer was always getting skunky.
I'm not really smelling much hop on it.
Yeah,
not
with
hop in a sense that you've become accustomed
like
to
the resins,
in an American IPA.
So, but they use the hops that don't get skunked, so that's the story.
Yeah, this has got like a slight grassy.
There's also Miller High Life Light, which came out in 1994. We already reviewed that. They have the packaged draft version, which they came out with 32 years ago, called Miller High Life Genuine Draft.
And the difference between Miller Genuine Draft and Miller High Life is what?
Miller High Life is pasteurized, and genuine draft is cold filtered. It's never pasteurized.
And where do we see it in another beer? Where it's like that, where they're sold in two different names, but they're basically the same beer.
I know that Coors Light.
And Keystone Light, maybe the same beers?
Oh, I don't know about that. They don't have the same specs. And Keystone and Coors Light is cold filtered, never pasteurized.
And then Miller High Life is cold filtered. I mean, Miller Genuine Draft
is cold
and
filtered.
then this is pasteurized.
But you can get this in kegs, and it's the same item as genuine draft because then it's not pasteurized either. It's draft beer. We went to Miller Park in Milwaukee, and they had Miller High Life and Miller Genuine Draft, and they were both on draft, and I was like, well, that's the same beer.
Yeah.
Because they're both in the draft. So same identical
I
ingredients.
did notice that this beer does have a different flavor profile when
Than
it
the
does
High
come
Life?
out of the draft.
Oh yeah, when you go get a keg and you drink it, it's different. It's better on draft. There's no doubt. They'll tell you that on the website. But genuine draft is not as popular anymore. You can get the 12 packs at Walmart,
I've seen them.
but they're like about $10.99.
Yeah, it's an upcharge. Doesn't make sense.
Because they're saying it's better because it's not pasteurized. Okay, so cheers, folks. Smells, like yeasty Miller High Life bread. Very very mild white bread.
Tastes good. Tastes like beer.
I always noticed that Miller High Life has that kind of cooked vegetables, like steamed vegetable taste. Yeah, it's strange, and I've talked about that for years. I don't know how to describe it other than to say that. But they use water, barley malt, corn syrup, hops, and yeast. Now, 20 years ago, the literature said they used yellow corn grits. Well, even 10 years ago, they say grits, but now they're saying the brewer's syrup, which is made out of corn. So it's just, it's corn. That's the filler corn. But aside from the cooked vegetable thing, which is not a flaw because that's its characteristic. Medium mouthfeel and a crisp finish, don't you think?
It's light. It's medium. But I did get, now that you mentioned the cooked vegetable thing, it's almost like it's not so much vegetable, it's just like a light, overly cooked broccoli thing.
Yeah, like if you took cauliflower and broccoli and some carrots and you boiled them and then
The California mix.
and then the broth that's left,
Yeah.
let's say with no salt, it was just without salt, it kind of has that. But this is not the California mix, this is the Milwaukee mix.
Right. Well, it's a drinkable beer. It's light. There's not a whole lot to the flavor profile other than it's beer.
Yeah, if you're looking for complex,
You're not gonna get it.
it's not. It isn't
And
designed
that's
to be that.
not why you'll choose this beer over other beers. You'll choose this beer because it's light, it's easygoing, it's in some cases what some people would describe as lawnmower beer, meaning that it's a hot weathered, cool down beer rather than a warm weathered.
Yeah, it's a crawfish boil, fish fry, barbecue type item.
Yeah.
Or
What that is.
a coming home from work drinking type beer. Lower middle class. Kind of a lower middle class type item. And I remember back 20 years ago, the Miller High Life commercials on TV kind of emphasized that, but I don't know if that went over too well. Showing the guy in the muscle shirt, undershirt, in his kind of run-down apartment with the fridge full of Miller High Life, dancing with the dog and all. I mean, it was kind of strange.
I don't know where all that's coming from, kids, but apparently I didn't pay enough.
I did, and I thought it's quirky. It's sort of like a David Lynch type approach, surrealistic commercials, but I don't think it was received too well. So then they went to more like traditional. If you got the time, we've got the beer, Miller beer commercial.
Okay. Yep, I do remember that little jingle.
Yeah, it's just, and that I know we need to stop that. It's just like a working man's type product, or a working woman's type product.
Or a non-working person's type product because it's cheap.
Well, if you're on a pension, you know.
If you're out there collecting those coins on the side of the road with the sign, that's the working man.
We might need to cut off the video. Now, Jeff Lyons of Massachusetts Beer Review said his mother, who passed away sadly, but her favorite beer to drink was Miller Genuine Draft. That was like her mainstay. And this is the kind of beer I think where it's like, you know, you got people that have like only one brand they drink. You know, you could think of there's people that only drink this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like those Bud Light people down in the river parishes.
Right. It's the same concept. I mean, I could drink it every day. I wouldn't get tired of it.
Those folks love their Bud Light.
Oh.
They love it. They love it. And they'll sit there and they'll tell you, I'm not drinking anything else.
What did we see at the parade when we were walking around on the route during the parade?
All Bud Light.
You would drink a Heineken and everybody else.
Blue cans. All over the place. Blue cans.
People tell me, boy, I bet in Louisiana they drink all them Louisiana beers, huh? I say, yeah, Bud Light.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so what would you rate this?
It's an A. I mean, it's just
A.
Yeah, it's good beer. I like it. I'm biased. If I wasn't biased, it'd probably be a B.
He's biased because you could probably guess what he's got in his fridge. All right, so
I can show you. Hold on a second.
I'll give it a B plus. I think it's very good. I don't know about excellent, but I mean I've been drinking it for 22 years. That was the first beer I ever drank.
Like that Rush song. They call me the working man. I guess that's what I am.
Right. I have that album.
Everybody does.
Of course, I have every Rush studio album. But when I first started drinking beer in February 1996, I said, you know, oh, people drink beer all the time. What's this about? So I went to Winn-Dixie and I said, I'll buy a beer and try it. And then I said, well, High Life, that's an iconic brand. So I bought the Little Pony, you know, the 7 ounce. And I came home and drank it. And I said, oh, I could see getting into this idea of drinking beer. I said, I think I'll just try
So how old were you when you had your first beer?
27.
Oh.
I said, I think I'll try every beer brand that I can get a hold of. Well,
I think it was a Miller High Life Pony.
Oh, I mean, I was an infant when I first tried beer, because when I was little, my parents would have crawfish boils and get-togethers, and they would let me sip out the bottle, you know. I'd be like, let me have some. And I can remember being a toddler, and they would have Miller, like you're saying, Miller High Life, and you'd be sipping it out that bottle, and it would taste so good. And they wouldn't be paying attention, you know, be talking and having a good time, and they just keep letting you drink some of it, you know.
You pass out the corn.
No, but you would just drink it, you know, and it was so much healthier than letting kids drink Coca-Cola and Pepsi and soft drinks, really. But and then another beer they would always be drinking would be Dixie, of course, or Schlitz. That was what my experience was. But when I revisited beer in 1996, this was the first I did.
Or Jack's.
Oh no, my daddy didn't like Jack's. He said it was bad for his intestines. He said it was a horrible beer and you needed paregoric and 2 aspirins every time you drank Jack's. But my grandfather said, no, that's a good beer. I mean, you know, so some kind of little conflict there.
Okay.
All right, so Laissez Les Bon Temps Relate. Thanks for watching this video production. And we're going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to Jefferson Parish, Louisiana.
And have some Miller High Life.